What's up, photography mafia? In this Luminar Neo review and tutorial, we're going to take a look at the panorama stitching. We're going to be combining these 4 photos together that I took in Patagonia on the Argentinian side. By the way, these photos will be available for download, so make sure to check the description. So this is the Patagonia range of Mount Fitzroy. So I think this is Mount Fitzroy right here. And these photos are going in reverse order. So this is the leftmost photo of this panorama range, moving right, and this is the furthest right. So it's just with how the images are numbered. So it's kind of like in reverse order, but that doesn't matter. So anyways, we'll just click on this photo and then shift click on the 4th photo here. And then I'm going to drag this into the panorama stitching, and then I'm going to click on the ellipsis here. One thing I want to make sure I do is click on de-vignette and distortion correction, just to make sure the corners have a correct color grading or correct exposure, or it's linear, or it's like it makes sense, and make sure the distortion correction is applied so the corners don't look messed up or the sides don't look messed up due to lens distortion. So I'm just going to click outside of this box here. I'm going to click on start. And luckily Luminar Neo does allow us to provide some input into the panorama stitching. So there's different methods of combining these 4 photos that we put in. There's like spherical, cylindrical, Mercator, I think this is plain, and this is fisheye. So I'll just quickly go over them. I can't always remember exactly what the algorithm does between these different models here, so I always just eyeball it, but it is available on the Luminar Neo guide on the Skylum's website. But one thing I want to pay attention to is how the sky here, the blue part here, if it's curving, so you can see how it curves here, and as well as the landscape part right here, the foreground, you can see how it curves here with the plane and with the fisheye. It curves right here, but the sky looks pretty decent. This part looks pretty decent. So we need to pay attention to the foreground and this part of the sky to select the best model. And just going through them, or while I was going through them earlier, I think Mercator or the cylindrical is the best. I think cylindrical looks the best. And we can also like rotate or move this. We can change the perspective of the image just by like clicking and dragging on it. So like one thing you want to do is maybe like align the sky or make it look a little bit more clean or natural. But you can only like move it up or down. And yeah, so that's about it. You can move it left to right, but that doesn't really matter. And I think I'm just going to keep it like this. This looks good. But let me go back to this Mercator. So this cylindrical gives a little bit more vertical pixels. So I'm just going to click on this one here, the spherical, and click on continue. Actually, I want to correct the sky, this part right here. And obviously these are dead pixels or transparent pixels on the outside, so we'll need to crop these away. So this looks like Luminar Neo is automatically cropping away the negative pixels or the dead pixels. So I'll just click on crop and I'll click on save. So let's take a look at this image here. And I actually don't like it. It looks like we're missing some pixels on the foreground here. So I wonder what happened. So let's go back to this catalog. Go to all photos. You can see it created a panorama stitching collection or folder. But let's go back to all photos here. And let me see if I can find these 4 photos. 1, 2, 3. And where's the 4th one? Yeah, right here. So yeah, it looks like it messed up on the cropping unless I totally messed it up. So let me try this again. 1, 2, 3. This is the one. Okay, so I gotta make sure I don't put in the already merged panorama photo. So let me try this again. And it looks like I got 4 in there. So let's go back to this cylindrical. Yeah, so what I think happened was with my crop, I did a pretty bad job of not including this foreground because I was cropping like from here to here, so I was missing a lot of this. So what I think I'm gonna do is I need to correct this crop again and just make it a little bit better. Let's see here. Okay, see, I can see where I messed up here. So I was thinking I was getting this part here when I wasn't. So I need to fix this crop about like that and like that. Now we are looking a little bit better with this crop. And I think this looks a little bit better. I think that looks good. I got more of the foreground here. And the other thing we can try doing is, let me click on save here. Okay, so I think this crop looks better than this one. Yeah, so this crop looks a little bit better. There's a lot of people in here. I can use Gen Erase to remove them if I want. But the one thing is we can expand this photo using Gen Expand, but I've already tried Gen Expand in a previous tutorial and it's a hit or a miss. So it does need a little bit more work. So what I'm going to do is just to improve this photo, I'm going to go to the edit section. Actually, maybe I'll just go check these presets and take a look at how it does. Let's take a look at this long exposure. So wow, so this looks a lot better now. This photo, let's take a look at it without it and with it, or I can just show you the before and after. That looks pretty good. Clean light. This forest stream is really nice right here. So I think I like long exposure here and this forest stream. Keep in mind this part of the clouds is pretty dark and this part is bright. This is very common when you have imminent weather or microclimates where it's like clouds on one side that are dark and then there's like sun on the other side. And let's go back to the original photos here and let's take a look at it here. Yeah, so you can see this dark part here. So it has nothing to do with the panorama stitching messing up. It's just to do with how the landscape and the weather was changing, it looks like. Yeah, so that looks fine. So let me go back to the panorama stitching photo. Let me go to presets. So these easy landscapes work pretty well. Let me see if there's any other nice ones that I like here. Nordic summer. Dancing clouds. So these ones you have to buy, which I'm not a big fan of, having them in there and having to buy it. So I think I'm going to go back to the, let's take a look at scenery. Simple clear skies. No. So what I think I'll do is I'll just start with easy landscapes. And which one did I like? I like the long exposure and the forest stream. So I think I'll stick with long exposure. I'll go to edit and maybe I'll do some, let's see what the landscape option has. It has a dehaze, golden hour. No, I don't like those. I think I'm gonna go to the color harmony here. Add a little bit of brilliance, see how that looks. Warm it up a little bit more. And let's take a look at what we can do with color contrast. So make this image pop a little bit. And I don't think I want to change the hue, so that looks good. And in the color balance, in the highlights, maybe I'll add a little bit of magenta just to make it look a little bit better. And these shadows look pretty dark, so I think what I'm going to do is go to the develop section, increase these shadows a little bit. I'll go to the curves, increase the midtones slightly, and then maybe I'll add a vignette. Keep in mind, this isn't a like master landscape edit. It's just to demonstrate the panorama stitching. Of course, these people might be a distraction, or we can use them as like a secondary subject. Mount Fitzroy will be the primary subject, and maybe this will be like another complement subject, like this part of the sky. It is a little bit too saturated, so I would need to remove the color with a mask, which I'm kind of lazy to do right now, which is okay. But where was I was at vignette, and maybe I'll add a vignette here. So this vignette looks pretty interesting. Let's take a look at this size right here. Put it like that. Now this photo looks a lot better. So this vignette takes away the focus from this part of the image. So it looks pretty good. So let's take a look at the before and after. Before and after of this panorama stitched photo. So just as a reminder, these photos will be available for download on my website. So make sure to check the description. And if you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. And as always, live easy, sleep breezy, and stay lovely.